Hi folks, we're back in Columbus for Origins 2017.
Woo-hoo.
I'm here with Justin from Fireside Games.
Hi everybody.
We are taking a look at Kaiju Crush.
Yes.
What do we have here?
We have a giant city smashing game. You are going to be one of 4 giant monsters in this game, and your goal is to smash a city for points, as it always is. I've only put out a few of the tiles. There's actually a lot more. The game goes up to a 7x6 arrangement for a 4-player game.
Okay.
This is just to give you a sample of what the board will look like. These tiles are changed out randomly, and then each monster is going to have a starting tile. So here's our robot guy over here. Here's our blue guy, Draximus, over there, and they've got what amounts to a crater. It may be a little hard to see on screen there, but this is a smashed building. It's just the remnants and it's in his color. Now the goal of the game is to make points by moving around, smashing buildings, fighting other monsters, and completing objectives that are out for everybody to get to. Move these guys out of the way.
Okay, so as you move along, you're just trying to complete these objectives?
Complete objectives and get points, because every building you smash is worth points. There's a couple of tricks, of course. It's not that easy. You can never go back to a building once it's been smashed. So this board is going to get harder and harder to move around, and your movement is limited. The way it works is on your turn, you got 2 things you're going to do. You're going to move based on movement cards, and then you're going to do whatever it is, either smash a building, maybe fight a monster. So movement is based on these awesome little movement cards. Hold it up there for that one. And it has a different pattern on it. So in this case, this one moves like a knight in chess. So that's the ability you would have to move.
Okay.
But you're always going to have 2 options. The card that's in front of your character, and then what we call the shared card. So you can choose which one you want. If you use the shared card, it just stays out there. This is trample, lets you move diagonal. So the way it would work is I would take my guy, I would say, you know what, I want to smash this bridge, it's worth 3 points. I would smash the bridge, put my token down, or my crater. That was my movement, I used that card, boom, I'm done. Every card is worth points, and it's in different groups, kind of like suits. There's 4 different groups, that comes into some bonus scoring, and you just plain want big buildings, they're worth big points.
So there's a bit of set collection as well.
A little bit, yeah, you want to
Okay.
be careful on how far you go with that, but yeah, you'll keep that face up. Now here's the trick with movement though, I just explained using the common card. If I'd used leap instead, I would have had to, well first off, I would have ended up in a different place. I would have had to share, so my movement card now becomes the common card.
Okay.
So they're all going to come into play eventually. It's a question of, do I want my opponent to have access to this card yet or not, or do I just really need this one kind of thing? So you're balancing a little bit of that, moving around. Like I said, you're smashing buildings. One of the things you're going to also do is you have a special ability. It's a 1-time per game use that you fire off. It's going to let you maybe move in some crazy pattern. It might let you break the rule and go back to one that's been smashed before, which is really handy. You're also going to want to watch out for parks. Parks are never smashed in the game. Instead, what happens when you land on a park, you immediately go again. And again, you'll always have access to 2 cards. So you can maybe mix it up halfway, do the same movement twice, but you'll bounce off of a park, get something else, smash it, and claim it. That's all good. And then eventually what's going to happen, well, as you can see, since you can't go back, it's going to get harder and harder to navigate as this board shrinks.
It's going to be harder to even move with those cards.
Yes, some of these are going to get tricky. So what you're going to want to do then is probably go fight your opponent. So if you get next to or the same space with another monster, you can fight. There's 2 different modes. We call it adjacent battle, in which case you're going to do a battle and get victory points for it. Or if you fight on the same territory, you're still going to have a battle, winner gets victory points, and then whoever wins is going to put their marker down. So I might be able to take that away from you if I beat you at this fight kind of thing.
Okay.
Battles are pretty crazy in terms of they're pretty simple, but straightforward. Everyone's territory markers are also cards. They have icons on the back. And these icons are used in a simple fight thing. So what would happen is we'd each take the top 5 from our deck, and it's a hand of cards now, essentially, for you. Don't show them to me, but you can choose. We're going to have 5 real short battles where we're going to choose one from our hand and play it face up. And what we're doing is we're using what's called intransitive combat, otherwise known as a modified version of rock, paper, scissors. The way it's going to work is claws will always beat tails. You grab the other guy's tail. Tail will sweep the leg, so a leg beats kick. But a kick will beat a tail. Or, I'm sorry, excuse me. Kick beats a claw. That part's easy. That's rock, paper, scissors. Here's where it gets interesting.
Claw, tail, leg.
Kick. Yes, exactly. Monsters, that's what they do. But we have a couple interesting things. Fire Breath beats all 3 of those. This is like the ultimate trump card. It beats claw or kick or tail.
You know what? I didn't even notice.
See, you've got the Fire Breath.
Okay.
And then you've got spikes. Now spikes lose to claw or tail or kick, which you'd think makes them terribly weak, except they're the only one that can beat Fire Breath. So there is this interesting twist we've done where it's not quite as simple as it seems. So combat is literally like, go ahead and grab 5, we'll do a quick pretend combat. All right, you pick what you want. You're like, all right, I totally am going to dominate this because I'm coming in with this one. Whenever you're ready, we're going to flip them over. Make sure the audience at home can see. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. I have kick up, tail beats leg. So what happens is I put mine face down, you keep yours face up.
Always sweep the leg.
Always sweep the leg. Yes, we would do this all 5. Whoever wins the most of those 5, best out of 5, wins the combat. If it's a tie, the defender wins.
Okay.
And the deal is, what you do then is, let's say you won because obviously you're on a roll. You would have totally won. You're going to grab one of these at random, these little victory point markers. You wouldn't show me, but it's worth a certain amount of points.
Okay,
audience,
so those
you got a 2.
Those are hidden. What are the point values on those?
1, 2, and 3. Most of them are 1, a few are 2, and only a handful or 3.
Okay.
So that would have been pretty good to pull it too. You always get victory points, like I said, when you fight, even if I'm just fighting because I'm next to you. But if I had come and attacked you, and let's say I'd won, let's imagine my cards were great and I'd won, I would get your card out into your discard pile, mine goes down.
Oh, so you'd reclaim my little crater.
I have now got your crater. Now that's kind of nice in terms of taking that, but the reason that matters are these bonus cards. There's 6 in the game, an A, B, C, and D, there's a couple of some of them. In the beginning of the game, you're gonna pick 4, and they're double-sided. So there's 2 different ways to fight, 2 different bonuses rather, to go after. And the deal is, they usually are based, well, they're based on a couple of different things. A is based on, did I keep all of my smashed areas in one area, or am I spread out all over the board? In this case,
so whether or not they're adjacent to each other.
Yes, exactly. Like
okay.
if I had gotten this, I would score that as my largest area and I get 4 points for that. If I had only scored this, that's only 3 points, but it's still my largest area. And everybody gets these bonus cards. They're not taken away, they're available for all players.
Okay, so these just stay out. Okay.
Exactly.
And these are random setup.
Exactly. You're going to get one of each. So that's the one about whether your area is together or the opposite version is spread out, where you get one for each individual clump of smashed buildings. Hoarder is about the suits, like I was saying, the groups. So there's a commercial group, a power group, a transportation group, and a community group. Hoarder is if you have the most of one group, so at the end I'd add up all my symbols, and I'd look at how many of those I have. If I have the most, I get bonus points. The opposite is having the fewest. This helps out the guy who didn't get as many.
The anti
exactly
set collection.
And then we've got shapes. The C group is all about the shapes you made on the board. If you were able to get 4 in a row, so like if I had done that, I would score a line, and that would get me bonus points. The opposite of a line, at least in our world, is a square. So if I'd gotten this one up here, I'd have gotten a square. There's 2 other versions of that, orthogonal and diagonal, which are really hard to do, but very fun. And then D's a little bit different. These cards do go into play when they're scored. So the deal is, whoever gets the most of that card in that suit, so I would right now have the most, I would get this card. And it's like a temporary bonus for me. On my turn, I can use this power.
Okay.
This specific one means that I can either use my movement card, the center one, or the person to my left. So I'd have access to all 3 in a 2-player game.
Nice. And once you use it, then it returns?
It stays here until someone gets more cards than me.
Oh, okay.
So this is going to get passed around. As somebody takes more transportation cards, they're going to take this card.
So once you claim it, it's yours until someone takes it from you.
These ones are all about endgame scoring. This one can be passed around in the middle. So yeah, you're running around, you're fighting, you're going for bonus points, you're keeping an eye on what victory things you want to go for, and the whole thing plays in about, what we said, 45 minutes. That's probably your learning game. It's quicker than that even. It's a fun, fast little filler. It's going to be out November 1st is the plan on this one, and it is a $30 game, plays 2 to 4 players. We're super excited for it. My giant monster smashing cities, what more could you ask for?
It's cool, yeah, and I like how you had this one with the square and how it kind of actually played off of this one.
Yes, right?
In terms of...
You'd want to be...
So if you get it in this one...
Yeah, it works pretty good.
That.
Yes, honestly, square and spread is hard to do. You have to decide, is it worth those 3 points, or do I just want to keep going for individual points? Yeah.
Right.
And like I said, the special abilities, there's a whole bunch of those, and they change up. These ones that get passed around, there's one that lets you draw new special ability cards. There's another one that lets you use anybody else's destroyed territory as if it were a park, so you can bounce off of their territory, so... All sorts of fun things.
And the board is always set up like this, or is
we do it as a grid.
Multiple
you could do it in different shapes, but you do. We recommend a grid because it lets all the cards work equally. You get some weirdness with some of the other cards, but it changes on the number of players. It's a 6x5 for 2 players, 6x6 for 3, and then 7x6 for 4 players.
Okay.
So it gets pretty big. And the tiles are all marked. They have a little number on them, letting you know if it's for a 3 or 4 player game, so you know which ones to take out. The points get bigger in a 3 and 4 player game. There's 5-point cards out there.
Right.
And
And the movement cards, how many different are there in the game?
There are 5 total. The idea is there's always one more than there are players in the game because you need that common card.
Right.
So all 5 would be in for a 4-player game. You'd have that one extra one laying out.
Very cool, very cool. And you said this is out in November?
That's the plan. It is at the factory right now. We are excited. These things are half-proof, half-hand cutout. That's why a lot of these cards are sleeved. They're still a bit of a prototype there. But the art's all final and everything.
Okay.
Those are real. The tiles are real. Yeah. We will be demoing this at Origins, and we have some promos we're giving away. So you can come get a peek before it's actually out, kind of thing. So that's it. That's Kaiju Crush. Go smash some buildings.
All right, folks. That's Justin. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
And see you guys in a little bit.
Sounds good.
Hello, Internet. I've been monitoring the chat and checking out your questions. We're back with Justin from Fireside Games. Let's start with Kaiju Crush because that's what we've been talking about. I missed MSRP and release date.
$30 MSRP and November 1st is the plan on this one.
Any plans for minis? for
Not
Kaiju
right in the
Crush.
first printing. We wanted to make sure we hit the $30 price point, which is why it's all cardboard. But
Right.
if enough people want them, we might consider like an add-on pack. And if we do an expansion, we might put them in there. So I'm never going to say never.
Okay.
Because, you know, plastics are interesting. So.
All right. The different monsters. How many different monsters are in the box?
There are 4 different monsters.
Okay. Do they have unique powers, special abilities?
Do. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. I'm
Yeah.
a bad salesman. Yeah. Each one has a unique power that's related to combat. For example, one of them, instead of drawing 5 cards, gets to draw 6, and then they'll still have a 5 combat battle, but they get 1 extra card to play with.
Okay.
And then there's another one. I'm trying to think. One guy wins on ties of the claw, kick, or tail. Another one wins on ties of the fire breath or spikes. And then the other one, the blue monster, when he draws his hand, if he wants, he can dump as many as he wants to draw a new one. So you're modifying combat. All the combat abilities are what make them different, though. That's the special thing.
Okay. Question about Hot Shots.
Yes.
It's printed on the inside cover of the box. We've gotten to see it. I've gotten to play it.
Yes.
I know you've had some production delays.
Yes.
What are you looking at for Hot Shots right now?
Hot Shots is finally up and running. It is actually, as we speak, about to go on a boat. So it's happening. It's good. The minis are amazing. We finally got those figured out. The street date for that we're saying is September 20th. There is a slight chance it might get out a little earlier than that, but we are hedging our bets because lately customs has been insane.
Really?
So yeah, there's been a lot of people getting hung up in customs. We're going to try and dodge that. Little bullet there. But yeah, it's coming, it's happening. It'll definitely be September 20th and maybe even a little quicker.
Okay, well, fingers crossed.
Yes,
it's always
definitely.
good to under-promise and then over-deliver.
That's our plan, because we already kind of did the opposite version with the first thing.
Yeah.
But the minis look great. They're here at the booth. If anybody's at Origins and wants to see Hot Shots, the real finished minis are in our booth. So.
And because they're fire tokens.
Yes, they're plastic flames that are a little bit see-through, and they look really good if you put a light under them.
Really?
Yeah, they're really awesome.
You know somebody is going to build little tea lights.
I know. I'm trying to find little... The thing is, the space underneath is really small. You need like an LED with like a hearing aid battery kind of thing. I'm working on it.
Somebody's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
If it's not you, it's going to be someone else.
Yes.
One other question I thought was interesting. You published Star Trek Panic along with USAopoly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And someone was asking, what was it like working with the Star Trek license? How did that constrain what you were able to do? Is there anything you can share about working with an IP like that?
Yes, and quite honestly, not blowing smoke anywhere. It was awesome. CBS was really good to work with, and USAopoly actually handled almost all that.
Yeah.
I basically threw ideas at USAopoly, and they dealt with CBS. So I didn't have a lot of experience dealing with them hands-on, but they were really excited about everything we pitched. They didn't shoot down anything that we pitched that we were serious about. When we were brainstorming and kind of throwing ideas on the wall, there were a few that were sort of meh on, and we were too. It was like, this is the thought, let's see how it works.
Yeah.
But no, destroying the Enterprise, that was the big one I was sure. Are they going to let us blow the Enterprise
That was
up?
going to be my question.
Yep.
They're going to let you blow it up.
Go for it.
You know,
loved it.
now that I think about it, they do it a lot in the movies.
Exactly.
So
I've seen it happen. I have proof. It's canon.
they probably didn't have a problem with that.
It wasn't too hard. And like using the hardest thing really was getting all the licensing and stuff, because there's issues with like certain actors own their licenses in different ways and they get different percentages and things. That was something we didn't have to deal with.
Okay.
But there were issues using all the photographs. And that was the big thing, is we were limited by photos of actual stuff from the original series, and there are not a lot of photos of the ships, ironically, that are usable. So that was one of the things where we had to tweak, like the Klingon cruisers, we had to tweak them to make them the boss monsters and try and find every instance where you could tell it was different, and it was hard. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I would say the thing about that sums it up best for me is when we pitched the initial game, they had very few changes, and the whole thing of yes, you can destroy the Enterprise happened. Then when we showed them the first working prototype, their feedback was, this is the best Star Trek game we've ever seen. And I'm like, I will take that proudly. So,
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that was very good.
All right, so if folks are looking for more information about Fireside, where do they head?
I have no idea. There's just no way to get in contact with us now.
If
only there was something like the internet.
Interweb.
A connection of tubes, perhaps, would solve this. Yeah. No, firesidegames.com is the website. That's definitely a good source. But if you'd rather stay up with us on Facebook, we do a lot of posts there. We do live videos and stuff. We got a pretty active Twitter. We're on Instagram. We also have a newsletter. If anybody wants to get sort of the behind-the-scenes info, sign up for that once a month. We'll hit you with what's new and what's hot and let you know like where we're going to be and stuff. So there's a lot of ways to follow us.
Awesome.
Lots of video reviews out there. We have a big active YouTube channel. We're just about to post a how to play for Hot Shots, actually, probably like next week. So keep an eye on that.
And future conventions for you. You're here at Origins, of course. Gen Con?
We are doing Gen Con.
All right. Anything else?
After that, no, we're not going to be at BGG this year, but we are Oh, and the foreign one's probably not going to work out. So we're going to do a tour after Gen Con. We're kind of known for these weird driving tours we do. Emery and I are going to pile everything up in the van and drive around kind of the Great Lakes-ish area. We'll have more details once we nail down the last few visits. We're going to be going to a couple of stores and showing Hot Shots and Kaiju in person. We'll bring promo stuff. We'll be there if you want to say hi to us or have us sign anything. So look for that. That's going to be right after Gen Con. We're going to finish Gen Con, pile up in the van, and go. So.
And that would be a good reason to subscribe to the newsletter so that you know where you're going to be.
Yes, follow us on Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff. Yeah, we'll keep you updated. And like I said, that's going to be pretty fun. We're on the road for like over a month, too. So we're going to hit, I think it's over a dozen stores now. I don't have all the details, but yeah, we're going to be doing some pretty fun in-store appearances. So.
That sounds fun.
It is. We've done this a few times before, and it's always a blast. We get to meet cool fans, cool store owners. If there's a convention we can sneak in, we'll do it. But
It's much more low-key than doing, say, something like this.
Totally.
Where you have all this stuff scheduled, and you can really just sort of hang out with fans.
Seriously. We'll just spend an evening playing. We're definitely pushing, Kaiju and Hot Shots. If somebody's dying to play Bears, we'll play Bears with them.
Nice. I'm sure you've got it in the van.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a copy somewhere,
Sweet. Justin, thank you very much.
Hey, thank you guys very much. Always a pleasure to be here. Hi, Internet peoples.
Thanks for your questions. We'll have more very soon.
Awesome.